The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki.
Hello, here I am. Welcome to the show. It's the Nikki Glaser Podcast. I'm Nikki Glaser. I'm in St. Louis, on my lonesome, in my lonesome, by my lonesome.
Bye.
Bye. It's bye. I got there.
You're bye now?
Yeah, I got there. I'm finally there. I have been flirting around with it for a while, but I've just embraced it. I probably am a little bit, like I could be. I would have no problem in prison.
Sure.
You know? Like it wouldn't be like, oh, I guess pull my arm or twist my arm. I'm fucking up everything today. Pull my clit. I'll fucking go down on you. Brian's here. Noah's here. Noah, I want to comment on, did you get some maternity wear? Because it looks like that does not look like something I've seen before in your wardrobe that you're trying to make fit your
This is
now 5.5
free
month
people.
pregnant belly.
I guess maternity style is back in.
Oh, hell yeah.
Really? That's
official.
just like basic free people?
Yeah, but I probably won't fit in this in a month.
It's their pregnancy, it's their maternity line called Trapped Baby.
Yes, trap a baby.
Yeah, free people, trapped baby. So I don't understand how that can possibly fit your, like, is it an overall situation? It looks like overall.
Yeah, it's a jumper. So it's supposed to be a loose jumper, but
okay.
it's nice and like snug on me.
Okay, so it is snug, but it looks so maternity. It's so cute.
Thanks.
It's so funny because so much maternity stuff, like even the jacket you were wearing on Girls Trip, which we have to discuss since we haven't potted since then. Right?
No,
we haven't.
No, it's been a long time.
It's been a while.
It's been so long. We really backed up on some episodes. Yeah, it's been stained. It's been a while. You had a jacket on Girls Trip that was maternity, and it was so nice. And I forgot the name of it. I wanted to get it because it's like this. What is it even called? Like waffly?
Pink Blush Maternity is the website
Blush
I got it from.
Maternity.
But you can wear their stuff like regular.
You don't have to be
because
pregnant to
oversized
wear
is good.
maternity stuff.
Yeah,
They have
that's
cute
I didn't
stuff.
know that.
That's a life hack.
It's like the sticker on your car that says 26 point. What's a marathon? 26.3.
Yes. Oh, you can just put that on there without
You can
having
just
to.
buy them.
You could do whatever you
at
want.
the
You
running
could just
store.
lie.
I was like, do I have to prove to get this sticker right now? And they're like, no. I'm like, I'm getting it. Like,
Did you do it?
You should be able to. I didn't put it on my car, but I did get it because I just thought it was funny to buy one and you haven't done anything just because you could. Yeah, you can. The maternity wear in Target, it used to be kind of just a fluid transition over to the maternity wear. So you would be shopping in your normal clothes and then you'd go, oh, this rack this is cute. And then you'd walk to the front of the store and it would be called like Peapod or something. You'd be paying for it and then you'd see the tag and it's Peapod wear.
Mm.
And it's a maternity wear. And then you just go, okay, well, I guess that's where I'm at now. Like, oversized is much more comfortable for women.
And it's pretty in right now. I mean, I feel like I walk around LA and everyone's wearing oversized stuff. Everyone on Instagram too.
Chris isn't a big fan of the Jinko cut jeans or like he doesn't like he said, I'm not like mad about it and don't like put words in my mouth of like, I don't like it. Or I think they shouldn't wear it, but I'll never like a woman in a pantsuit blazer. Like that's never going to be a sexy look for me. No matter if you just wear, what if I wear like no bra underneath it? He's like, no, it's not doing it for me. So I always have that in the back of my head.
Yeah.
When I'm like trying to dress up, I'm like, oh, this doesn't look sexy to the one person that I'm allowed to be sexy to.
Yes.
Not allowed, but you know what I mean.
That's the only permission
even though
you have.
I think it's a sexy look.
I feel like there's certain clothes that I have such an association with men wearing them that like if a girl wears them, I'm like, I'm not attracted to that style.
I think that's what's going on. I can't speak for him, but I think that's what's happening in his brain is that it's just like a masculine thing. And it's not like he's a bad person because you don't like what you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
But is there anything that Avi doesn't like? Like that women wear that you're like, you can just tell he's just not as into you when you wear that kind of fashion.
How do you tell?
He won't. Chris does not lie, so I'll be like, "You look so cute," and he'll be like, "Thanks." Because I said this on the show before. He was like, because I complained, like, you don't compliment me when I clearly put in effort. And he's like, well, what do you want me to say when I don't like it?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and then was what I said. Come up with something you like about it. The color, my confidence in it. Like say something.
I really like
But
that
then-
you're wearing a shirt. you know.
Yeah.
That really
be
is a
but
shirt.
I'm not. I'd rather you be topless.
So Avi and I, we get up at different times. I don't see what he puts on. He gets up before me, and then we'll meet in the kitchen, and we're literally wearing the same thing. Does that happen to you
my
guys?
God.
Whoa.
No.
I don't know how it would.
Like same
That's
colors.
Same
Okay.
colors.
Oh, like the same
That's
colors.
really cute. That's what like you and Kirsten too.
Oh yeah, that happens with me and Kirsten.
Yeah,
Girls
you guys
chat.
have like synchronicity.
What does that mean? I mean, you're wearing the same
means
colors.
nothing if you've ever listened to this podcast. It's just a
meaningless.
coincidence. And most clothes are either brown or blue or black or white. And so you're eventually
lot of
going to
options.
like line up. That's not that many. It's coincidence. It means nothing. But it also, you end up looking like your dog. You end up looking like people end up dressing like each other. When you cohabitate, you like turn into kind of the same person.
And then when you die, we all look alike. Eventually, we're just bones.
Yeah, we're just like,
Yeah.
hi. Smiling skeletons. Just thrilled to be dead. Except that we aren't all, I think our skulls are different shapes. Like you can tell a woman's skull versus a man's because of the slope of the forehead. Is that it? I took it in the anthropology class.
Yeah, the brow
I don't know
bone.
that one. Oh, it's the brow bone?
And also the jaw.
Yeah, you guys have a heavier one.
The jaw frame.
Oh, yeah. And our clip bones.
Clip bones for sure.
We have those too. Clit is mentioned twice thus far.
Speaking of clit.
Oh, 3 times.
Oh yeah.
We went to we were on a road this weekend and we had a plane that was stopping over in Charlotte.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand why Charlotte has made their airport what are those called? Their little word symbol, their 3 letters, clit.
Mm-hmm.
It's CLT for Charlotte. It's clit. And then if you look at the Charlotte Hornets basketball team, their jerseys, sometimes they wear CLT jerseys, but they're in the design, there's like a little line that goes up between the C and the L. So it really looks like clit. And I just don't understand why they chose those letters. They could have, it used to be CHA, I thought, and somewhere along the line they changed it to clit. And how are they not embarrassed by
That's Charleston, baby. I think I wouldn't be. I think it's cool to have it be clit, and I think it's funny. And so, like, I always wanted 69 as my jersey because I think that would be funny it's just funny to have a sexual. I think it's funnier to be a city but it does seem to go against our puritanical Southern.
What's weird about
nation.
it is that there's people who are like, they have their boarding pass and they're not aware that CLT says clit and they're just walking around with clits on their phones.
That's the problem. Or not the problem, but that's probably the reason is that people don't see that and think clit. And I think clit became kind of the term for that we talk about all the time. It was popularized probably after it was named. Because I don't think people were saying clit in the 50s.
No.
Or even clitoris. Like they hadn't even found it yet.
They hadn't discovered yet.
It wasn't. There was no research on it. Did you see the new TikTok thing? Where who knows if this is true, but they just this past July 2023 started testing menstrual products with actual blood.
Are you kidding me?
They were just using other liquids before then. And so, women's health science is always they're late to the game. So I think clit was not something that we said all the time when this place was named.
I think it was
Pensacola to clit is a funny one. Because I think it's PNS.
Oh my God. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I think according to my research, it became CLT in 1982.
Will you look at when clit became a popularized phrase? Like or a word? I don't even know.
How do
slang,
I find
I guess.
that? When
it
did
is slang. When did
clits become popular? When did clit?
The earliest
I wonder
known
when
use
they did.
of the noun clit is in the 50s, according to the Oxford English Dictionary.
They knew what they were doing. The people in Charlotte are freaks. They're freaks out there, and we're gonna name our airport Clit.
And that's one of my favorite airports. Although it was fucking crazy yesterday. So packed. Airports have been really packed recently because we all got off the plane in Charlotte. We were coming from Daytona to Charlotte, and then me, Anya, Matt and Brian all scattered in different directions to get our connecting flights in Charlotte. Did you you were able to make your flight because we were late getting into Charlotte?
It was like the beginning of hide and seek when someone's counting. We all went in different directions immediately.
Yeah, that is exactly it. I thought you were talking about like a horror movie I've never seen.
No. I made my flight easy. It was like not even.
Yeah, me too.
I wasn't even close to not making the flight.
I stopped at the American Lounge and got a salad and some soup, and then I got a Starbucks. Like I don't even know what I was worried about. I was worried about my bags making it, but they made it too, man. It all worked out.
They got this thing down to a science, except when the plane door explodes and you get sucked out. It's the only thing they haven't figured out yet is how to not have that happen.
Can you believe no one was sitting in those seats?
No.
The luck. I mean, we've already talked about it. Someone wrote to me and said why. I think they usually reserve those seats for people who are doing like the bulkhead thing or something. And so there must have been no one on that flight doing that. I don't even know. But someone wrote to me and explained it. It's crazy. I kind of sometimes want it to I just want something exciting to happen up there sometimes. And I know that's like the opposite of how everyone feels, but I think if a door flew off, I wouldn't think we would crash. I would just be like, whoa, because I'm always buckled in. I'm never in my seat without a buckle. And so I feel like I'd be okay.
But
I don't want anyone to die.
What if your phone got sucked out? Because that happened to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Their phones got sucked out, and then they don't have a phone.
Oh, that would be so annoying.
And you'd have to go.
Okay, I would be pissed. Now I don't want it to happen.
It's like
because I don't want my phone to get sucked out of my hand.
I paid for. I was in first class, and my phone got sucked out. That's a reason to complain.
It was so funny. The other day I was in the edit for my special, and the editor was ordering us, Uber Eats or whatever. And so he passed around his phone to add to the order. And I had his phone for maybe like a minute longer than I should have because I'm just like building the salad, building my own, Can't decide if I want chickpeas or not.
Yeah.
And I saw him just kind of like start to like panic. Like I saw it, and I go, I still have your phone. And he was like, oh God.
Yeah.
Like it's immediate that it takes place.
It's sad.
It's a certain movement
It's
too.
so
it's
sad,
always like
dude.
the hands kind of flailing to like check your pockets if they're in there.
Yeah, it's just like I don't even know that I saw him. I just felt a tension in the room. Like I really predicted it like dogs before an earthquake. Like because as soon as I looked up, he began looking for it. So it was like I knew because because I was holding someone else's phone. So it dawned on me like, where's mine? Like it's so annoying. And I took Instagram off my phone for 2 days last week because I just felt crazy. And I'm like, I don't want any more of anyone's life. I don't care about anything right now. So I took it off, and it's just, the old story of my fingers are searching for it without my brain being attached to that movement.
Yeah.
Like I just see my fingers going, where is it? And I'm like, I don't even know that I'm doing. It's just my brain it's so strange.
And it feels so
addictive.
good to be able to just focus on things. But you're talking about football and this weekend and saying how it's crazy that people watch so much football. And I watch me and Allie will both watch all day Sunday, the game on Monday, the game on Thursday.
That's so fun. But if you have a partner to watch it with, I get it. Alone, weird.
Well, here's what happens. What winds up happening is
not weird, but excessive.
When the season ends, you actually feel this just relief where you're like, oh my God, I have so much more free time. I have my whole Sundays back. And then you get so much more done when the football season's not happening. And it is kind of like this past weekend, there were playoff games on. And because we were on the road, I didn't really fully watch those games. I kind of just saw the highlights after, or I caught like a little bit of a quarter. And my brain switched from sports to like thinking about jokes and like comedy stuff. And I was like, oh, this is where my brain needs to be rather than constantly checking to see if, Christian McCaffrey caught a touchdown pass.
Yeah. That it's gotta be. I don't even know what it's like to have my time and my thought. Well, actually, I can relate a little bit to like being done with my special. Like it was an obsessive thing right before it, and then it's over. And every time I close my eyes, I used to be going over jokes, or not even wanting to, like intrusive thoughts going over jokes, where I'm like, get out of my head. I don't even want to think about you right now. And then there's no place my brain is looking for the app. It's looking for the app, and there's no app there because it's already done. And so it feels like there is this like emptiness, and you go, what did I used to do for fun? Like what filled my time? But I was watching, or I guess Chris was watching the Chiefs game. Was it last night? Yes, because Taylor Swift was there.
Yes.
And
because Taylor Swift is all over page 6. this morning.
She was having a great time.
Yeah, I saw. I mean, she pops up on my Instagram instantly when I know when games are starting because I see her arrive, and there is no more breaking news than like the most breaking news there is Swifties saying where Taylor Swift is. I could get, if I am, 5 miles away from Taylor, I could still get there to see her walk from her car to the building. By the time a Swiftie is posted, I could then get in a car and get there and see her open the door and walk in because it's so fast and it's in real time. But last night I saw that there was a game going on. I was doing karaoke for my mom's birthday with my family, and I was texting him about that, and he said, the Chiefs are playing, and this is the game that decides, if they have a chance to go into the Super Bowl. And for some reason, I was like, I'm so wanting Taylor Swift to be at the Super Bowl, and I want Travis Kelsey there because I care about their relationship, because I'm locked in because of that. I was like, I really cared that they won last night. I didn't want to watch it, but I really cared. And I just said to Chris, it's already done. They've won. They're going all the way. There's just no doubt about it in my mind. They're winning. And of course they won. And I'm not saying that's why they won, but I took the time to manifest for Taylor Swift.
Wow.
Like things for her life to make her life better. And I literally cannot do manifestation for my own life right now. I know I've been talking about doing it a lot recently, and I want to be able to do it, but I've been so depressed recently that my brain will not allow it, because even the things I want to manifest, I don't want to do. Because when you're depressed, you don't want to do anything. So even me being like, I hope I win a Emmy. I'm like, I don't want to go try on dresses to wear to the Emmys next year. I don't want to have to write a speech. I don't want to have to be on the, that's how depression works. It just makes you hate everything that you even love. So I've been unable to manifest anything for myself recently. But last night I took the time to really send out just the absolute certainty into the universe that they have already they might not win the Super Bowl. I'm saying they're going all the way, and I was certain of it. And then when I checked my phone later and saw they won, I was so excited.
Wait, so the Chiefs,
I felt like I had something to do with it, and I absolutely
So they
didn't,
are going to the Super Bowl?
No, they're going to the
but they have
AFC Championship game against the Ravens,
they're going
and
to
it's
the
going to be
after.
tough. It's going to be tough to beat
Why? Who are they playing?
The Ravens are like this buzzsaw with this amazing quarterback and a really good defense, a better defense than the Bills had probably. It's going to be tough.
And who are the other two teams?
Oh, the Lions, who've never won the Super Bowl before, and everyone in Detroit is lifting up the Lions. They're so excited. Even if you never paid attention to football, the city of Detroit is a buzz. Because
that's fun. Okay, so they're the ones we want to get in, really.
Pretty much, yeah. The NFC, the Ravens.
Who's the other one?
The Ravens and the Chiefs are kind of boring because the Ravens have won the Super Bowl twice in the last 15 years, and obviously the Chiefs have gone to this championship game the last 6 years in a row.
What?
Insane. Yeah, they've been to 6 championship games in a row. That's the game before the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So it's pretty wild. But the Lions are playing the 49ers, who may be the best team of all. So it's going to be tough. Wow,
this is an exciting showdown.
Yeah, it's exciting. If the Lions win it, people are going to go nuts. Everyone was excited for the Bills, too, because the Bills have also never won it.
And the Bills lost last night?
They lost to the Chiefs. And famously in the 90s,
that was the Chiefs.
The Bills went to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row and lost the Super Bowl 4 times. Yeah.
What?
Yes. And they've never won.
Sad.
They've never won. And they've never been back since then either.
Oh, my friend Sean O'Brien is he's probably the biggest football team fan I know. And it's the Bills. And I'm sorry for him. Yesterday was a rough day for him.
Yeah. So it would have been really cool if it wound up being the Bills versus the Lions, because that's 2 teams that have never won before. And
that would have been awesome.
There's been full joy Super Bowl.
But Taylor wouldn't have been there.
Taylor wouldn't have been there. No, But I think that I want the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl for the sake of Travis Kelsey. And then I think that he should retire after that, because you can't go on a more exciting journey than getting to the Super Bowl with Taylor Swift as your girlfriend. It's never going to get better than that. So
yeah, I want that story for them.
He should end it after that.
That's a love story. Yeah. Baby, just say yes.
And his brother,
that's a good one. And then they get engaged.
His brother, Jason Kelsey, I believe, who was at the game last night.
That was hilarious. Shirtless. Drunk?
He was jumping around.
He had to have been drunk. It was awesome.
He retired. So it's a good time for Travis to retire too. The brothers retire. They do their
How much older is Jason?
I think they're pretty close in age. But
we'll have an answer when we get back from break.
Yeah.
Brian's going to research that. We are going to wait on bated breath for that answer. We'll be right back with more show after this. All right, we're back. how much older is Jason than Travis?
Jason Kelsey is 36 years old and Travis Kelsey is 34 years old.
Sorry, Jason looks 48. Jason's had a hard career. He's gotten knocked around a bit. He plays a more intense position, correct? Than tight end.
Tight end is also technically a lineman, so they're similar, but Jason Kelsey is a center. He gets the shit kicked out of him every game, no matter what happens.
Good for him to be done.
Yeah.
And Travis, retiring at 34 though, it just seems so young.
Well, you retire
but I
from
guess
one
in football
career.
It's not.
He could do another one after.
Oh yeah, and then you go into another
podcasting. Can you imagine? Just imagine
so
this.
fun to look at. I would watch him do anything. Put him on TV. In fact, I want to see him do anything except football, to be honest with you, because I can't see his face. Did you see him do a little heart to her last night after he scored the touchdown?
Aww.
He did a Taylor Swift heart hand and then pointed to her box and then did a heart. It was so cute.
He's in love.
I love how cheesy he is. What a cutie. Oh, so in love.
Can you imagine having to bend down? Like you're bent down,
no.
like you're in. You can't. Yeah. So that's crazy.
Already, I'm out. Okay, so you have to bend down.
Is this
what Jason has to deal with?
Yeah, you go into a squat and you bend down, and your whole job is to hold a football and throw it behind you to your quarterback. As soon as you throw that football, a 300-pound man is trying to destroy you. So it's not like the other linemen are just waiting for that 300-pound man.
But you're also a 300-pound man.
That's true.
So I think I'd feel okay if, so if a 140 woman was coming at me, I would feel less scared than you can't present this like it's like.
So imagine you have to bend over with a football.
Okay.
And then a lion, an elephant comes to attack you.
Exactly.
Would you want that?
What you're making it sound.
Imagine if you bent over.
I don't understand why anyone wants any of this.
And then
I don't
someone
understand
shot
this
you
game.
with a bazooka.
I don't understand the game still. I'm very excited for the season to be over. I'm tired of it is so nice that people have this in their lives to care about. I will just say that. And it is, I can relate because I'm a Swiftie and I get obsessed with things, but people making fun of Swifties, football fans making fun of Swifties is so fucking funny to me because you are exactly the same as us.
Yeah.
This point has been made. I'm not making a new joke here. You dress up, you go to arenas, you devote so much of your time, 10 hours on New Year's Day. You could have watched football. And I would say even more with pre and post game analysis.
Well, of course.
Right.
And doing fantasy on top of
10
that.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that if
Swifties are looking up when Taylor goes to lunch or when she dresses in a certain pair of pants, and then NFL fans are like, oh my God, Lamar Jackson wasn't at practice today. Lamar Jackson tweaked his ankle playing basketball.
Yes.
It's like the same exact thing.
We're analyzing lyrics, you're analyzing stats. But I would love a show of smart people to do, I would want a part of the interruption for Taylor Swift. Like a really fun show with people, because there are podcasts about Taylor Swift and I do see the clips and I like them. And you know what? Actually, I don't want that because the podcast I can't get into for whatever reason. I do watch, I like the takes that chicks in the office have on Taylor Swift. I always love them. They're so positive. I love a celebrity gossip thing that's just positive. And sometimes whenever they get judgmental, they're always right. And it's I need to be more like them because sometimes I think I have the wrong take too loudly and it's mean and then I regret it later on. And I need to be very sure of my bad or my mean takes. But sometimes I just get really mad.
Yeah, but it's good to throw out takes. You got to throw out the takes and you can take it back later. That's what takes are for.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to take back something actually. This brings up a good point. I do think people need to get to the airport earlier than 2 hours if you don't have TSA pre. And I really forgot to say that point when I went on the tirade about you don't need to be there before 2 hours. Please know that is if you have TSA pre, you're going to be okay. But I know you don't because if you're worried about going to the airport, you definitely don't have it. So I'm sorry that I assumed you had that. Go 2.5 hours early. That's what you'll need. But also get TSA pre. Do it for
So worth
yourself.
it.
I know it seems daunting. It's not a big deal. It goes by really quick. And then clear, you can get clear really speeds things up to a lot in certain circumstances. But pre is really the one that you
Too many
want.
people have pre now. The lines sometimes on pre are longer than the non-pre
and now too many
lines.
people have clear.
Even clears? How much is clear?
Clear is backed up so much. Clear, I don't remember. I wish I did. You can look that up. But yes, it's
Sometimes
that's now backing up, and now I'm like, what's the next exclusive thing to get you through clear faster? I mean, do we just keep adding on things?
That's the tier.
Or do we make it cost prohibitive?
It's a caste system. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna.
It is a caste system. It's bullshit. Everyone should be equal. It should be Southwest, even though on Southwest you can buy A-list preferred and get on earlier. So it's like there's always a way to find how to get more. Like I like how pretty much anything that you point to as being noble ends up not being. It's like no one's doing anything really out of the kindness of their heart if they're a company. I've realized
capitalism.
the other day. No, there isn't.
No.
I saw an ad the other day from IKEA. It was during the football game, which ads during football games, they're made for mentally slow adults. Everything is bright colors and chicken cracking open. They're just like there's no information. It's just visuals and sounds, loud sounds, like that dumb commercial you talked about. I really feel like I'm special needs when I watch football commercials. I'm sorry, they know who their audience is.
Those are like the most expensive time slots for commercials.
Yeah, and they're bright and beautiful, and I do like the commercials because I'm like, oh, colors, like it makes me feel like a kid, but it is a little bit like Coco Melon talking to you kind of stupidly, like Dora the Explorer, like wow, tacos, like everything is for children. It's really
wow,
it's really
tacos.
interesting.
Do you want tacos now? Maybe. What about tacos?
Oh my God, Taco Bell's ads. Have you seen those ads? You definitely have.
The Taco Bell ads. Well, the ones that they play like 90s music.
Like the Gen Z ones where they show up at a party and everyone's wearing like, I don't even know how to describe them. It's like a 2000s. I, as a millennial, feel like it's a dated look. Like I'm like, they're trying to be cool, but I think they might be living Moss. Like they might have figured out how to live Moss and they might have nailed it. Like it might be what the younger generation wants, but it looks like a 2007 party to me. But maybe that's
it's
in
wild
now.
Because they're clearly going for Gen Z and they're trying to do a Gen Z party, but the music they choose is always from like the 90s or early 2000s.
Yes, they pick some stock
They do like
bullshit.
Green Day. They play like Green Day.
Yes, that is
and I'm always like, yeah, this is fucking awesome. And I'm like, wow, these Gen Z kids are so cool.
I want to see their focus groups.
Yeah.
I want to understand it. Anyway, so the ad I saw was for IKEA, and they were like, when times get tough, we lower our prices. We know that you're, pulling your purse strings together, so we considered you and we're lowering our prices. I just want to make sure everyone understands, no, that is not why they did that. Because at first I really was like, oh my God, IKEA, it might be like Patagonia, like they are just a company that exists, but to like raise awareness about problems, and they just want to help everything, which we know from Adam Ruins Everything's YouTube clip that is not the truth about Patagonia either. And then I took a second with IKEA and I go, God, that's so nice. They lower their prices when times get tough. And then I laughed at myself. I was sitting next to Chris. I laughed at my own thought. And then I go, Chris, I just thought IKEA was actually decent. And that is, I just took the extra step. I could have stayed in that pond of stupidity I was just wading in, of just like, they like us and they're worried about us being able to put dinner on the table. No, they're not. They will sell more if they lower their prices because they know that people will instantly not go get a new bedside table. That will not be a thing that they spend their money on if times are tough. But it will be something they spend their money on if they make it $20 less.
Yes.
And by making it $20 less, they sell that table, whereas if they kept it $20 more, they'd never sell it.
That's
so it's
right.
better to sell a $40 table than a $60 table. They're not doing it because they care about you having a new bedside table and they want you to be able to still get the things you enjoy in life, even though times are tough. They
And then when times
want
are
your
good,
money.
and then when times are good, we're going to charge you double because you're going to pay it.
Yes, exactly. It's all bullshit, but I almost fell for it. It was a really good ad.
I don't know why we're giving them a
'Cause I was-
Texas accent. The IKEA is like Sweden, isn't it?
It was
Can you do a
just this
Swedish? What does
earnest
that even
man
sound like?
talking to me. Yeah, I doubt that they would. The Swedish accent does not sound more intellectual than us. No offense. Like a French broken English sounds still elite. sounds like you're smarter than me. You might not have grasped our language yet, but I know you're better than me for some reason. Swedish does not convey that for whatever reason.
You know what I hate in commercials?
What
is when they do something that makes you feel sad or emotional. They influence your emotions in some way. Like there's this one commercial. I fucking hate this commercial. There's a commercial where there's a woman who's got Alzheimer's and her husband is like so sad during the holidays or something because she can't remember anything. She can't remember. She doesn't even recognize her daughter. She doesn't recognize her husband.
Damn.
And then the granddaughter.
Sorry, get me.
Right. And then the granddaughter is like,
what am I supposed to buy? Because I'm in.
I hate being manipulated like this. Because by the end, you're like crying. And then they're like, Toyota. And it's like, what the fuck? Like you made me feel bad for an Alzheimer's woman. But what's so annoying about this commercial is that there's this like Gen Z granddaughter. And she's like, I have an idea. As if nobody thought of had to do this before. They took the Alzheimer's woman and she took her in the car and she drove her around to all of her like her old school and an old place where she had a kiss. And the grandma then was like, wait, it's all coming back to me.
No,
because
I don't think that's how Alzheimer's works.
No, it doesn't work that way. And also, like the Gen Z person was the first person to think maybe we should take her back to her old school and see if it jogs her memory at all. And then she came back and the grandma was like, and the husband was like, oh my God, where'd you go? And she's like, you can't cook Thanksgiving dinner alone. And the husband's like, what? She knows it's Thanksgiving? I'm going to cook now.
Way.
She cured her.
Toyota, the cure for Alzheimer's.
That's right. And we're all crying because it's like, oh my God, I can't believe. But I'm just so pissed at this, this Gen Z kid coming in there being like, I know what to do.
Well, I get where they were going with this ad, right? Like Gen Z is more tuned into feelings and empathy and caring about other people. And they are the future. They have to have the ideas to take care of us in the future. But you are right about this, like let's do this thing that's like no one has ever taken grandma out of the house at all up until this girl has this novel idea to load her in the CRV. I guess that's Honda.
They get me every time. Those commercials get me every time. The emotional manipulation, and then it just makes me angry. I don't want to buy your product now. I'm mad because now you're
mad that they
took advantage of me. They got inside. They made me cry.
Well, that's the thing.
And now it's like and now I'm going to buy your fucking Toyota.
People who go into a boardroom and figure out how to do that.
Yeah,
that's the part that irritates me.
Yeah. Yes. And I mean. It's kind of interesting though. I love when someone can figure, I think that people cry too easily because I just don't cry that much. And so when there's some people, I just think that those kind of, like there's the one where like everyone talks about like coming home from war and like the kid being surprised
or
at
the
school.
dog.
I don't know why those don't get me. What, am I heartless?
Wait, what about when a guy is reunited with their dog? Does that get you?
I don't really care. I mean, it's not that I don't care, but it's like, I've seen a dog doesn't know he was in Afghanistan, but
they seem
the dog would have been happy if he went.
There's a little extra.
But dogs don't really have like a sense of time passing. So like he could have gone to the gas station and would have gotten the same response coming home. The dog's also feeding. I mean, of course, I'm being so snarky. And I do know that like a dog will be like, it is adorable when they freak out. Like I've seen videos where dogs go missing for months or something and then they're reunited. Mm-hmm. And that really tears at my heartstrings. But I don't know why those don't get me. The only thing that gets me to really cry is when someone dead is talking from beyond. Or like if someone is talking about a dead person and saying like, we miss you, like you're still around. Like the Tyler Henry night was getting me so much because they were like, dead people were talking like they're still here. Something about that, it triggers me. And like if, and then last night I cried when I was watching. And by cry, like, it's just a little bit of tears coming in my eyes. There's not a drop. It doesn't like fall down, cascade down my face. Yeah. The sniffles. I got teary-eyed watching Love on the Spectrum season 2.
Oh, that is almost wall-to-wall crying.
Oh my God, because it's just so nice.
Yes.
It's just so nice. Everything, like the parents and the daughters, like the daughter saying about her brother who's like very autistic, saying like, he's the best person I know. He's my favorite person. I was just like, oh my God. Like, I'll just always remember when on the first episode of the Australian version, the first version of Love on the Spectrum, the mother says about Michael, you know, the autistic guy in Australia, she goes, every family needs a Michael. And I was like, I want a Michael in my family. Like this just person that's just so pure and only saying exactly how they feel and doesn't have any sense of irony or sarcasm. It's just so lovely. It's interesting actually, because I'm watching a show where there's no comedy. There's no comedy on purpose, hardly at all. Like autistic people don't really make jokes. Now, Down for Love, lots of jokes being made. I think people with Down syndrome love to just goof around and laugh freely with abandon. And I'm not saying this is just something I've noticed. I think autistic people don't have as much of like, I'm going to trick you with a joke kind of thing. Or like, I want to tickle you or something. Like last night they were debating this guy who's autistic lives with two Down syndrome guys. And that's not what we call them, but you get what I'm saying. And they're like, they live together in this apartment. And they're talking about him getting a girlfriend. And they're like, you're going to have so many giggles with her. There's going to be so many giggles. It's just so cute. And they're like, there's going to be chuckles and giggles. And then one of them says, you can tickle her. And then they go, oh my God, he'll tickle her. And she will laugh so much. And they're all like rejoicing in this. And then one of them goes, I don't know. I don't think one has a moment. One of the Down syndrome guys has a moment of like, maybe recalling like, we don't tickle everyone. Some people don't like it. And he goes, maybe you don't tickle your girlfriend. I think that maybe your girlfriend, you don't want to tickle her. She might not like it. And then they all go, oh yes, that is not a good thing to do to your girlfriend. You may not tickle your girl. It was so cute that they all like wanted to tickle her and then they didn't want to. And they all agreed that was the best solution. And they were all thrilled about it. And they all are just so sweet and they want love and they want friendship. And this one girl was talking, I think the part that got me crying was she was talking about her brother who's really autistic and so sweet. His name is Connor. And he's like hot too. Like he's so cute, I think. And his friends are his family. Like, and his mom said, you know, he doesn't have any friends, but you know, so he's sometimes alone. If I go out on a date with my husband and then the kids go out with their friends, he'll stay alone with the dogs. And she goes, but you know, we're his friends. And I think we're pretty great. And you can tell they're a really great family. And she was like, but I do want to, and that got me crying that, they're his friends. Like it was so sweet. But what was I going to say about him? Oh my God, he goes to a speed dating thing. And while he's speed dating, he will write down in front of them yes or no. Like he doesn't wait for them to get up. It's so cute. And then the producer, bless his heart, could have just like kept letting that play out. But as soon as he noticed it, he was like, hey Connor, are you writing down yes or no when she's still sitting there? And he goes, why? Should I not be doing that? And they're like, well, she might see it. And he goes, oh no. And he like, it dawns on him. And it's so sweet. And I think it's sweet that the producer stepped in and did that because I've worked in reality TV. And when someone is making a mistake that is going to hurt other people's feelings, we tend to let it go. Yeah. Like we tend to let it happen and we hope it gets worse. But then you just see that on this show.
The opposite.
Yeah. They're really trying to help them out.
Because the audience doesn't want to see that either. The audience doesn't want to see them fuck up and get embarrassed. That's not
this one. It's full. This season has a lot more awkward moments than other seasons because I've heard some people say they don't like the show because they can't stand the awkwardness of it and the secondhand embarrassment. I would say to you, get over that because this is not. When they say it about I Think You Should Leave, Taylor actually, who's on the podcast all the time, she says she can't watch I Think You Should Leave because it's so embarrassing for her, and I'm like. But just remember, it's a sketch.
Yeah,
you know, these are actors.
Come on, it's a sketch.
But I can't watch horror films and someone could say, well, remember that's fake blood. And I would be like, well, it doesn't feel fake to me. So I can't exactly say that.
Sometimes.
But with Love on the Spectrum, it's awkward, but it's over. It already happened somewhere. Mm-hmm. And you can get through it. You're missing out on so much good just for those little moments. And just fast forward. You're not going to miss plot if you can just fast forward past the awkward. Yeah. There's so much good.
Sometimes I felt that way about certain episodes of Curb where I was like, it's just so awkward. Yes. I can't get through it. I don't want Larry to mess up this much.
Ooh. Well, Curb would bother me because it would always be someone acting so insanely to him. And it would bother me because I go, no one would be this mean.
Yeah.
And I know it has to be heightened for the sake of comedy, but I would just, it would kind of lose me with like every woman's just like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Why would you say that to her? Don't say that to her. She's a child. And it's just like, it always like builds crazily too fast.
Yeah.
But I do love it so much. And there's been times where I can't watch things because they're awkward. I'm trying to think of things I can't. Oh, Joe Coy. I had to get up and pace the room during that. I could not watch it. I could listen. It was like Fargo. I had to close my eyes. I don't like watching people bomb at all. I really don't. Some people love watching people bomb.
No.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I don't
because
love
maybe it's just because I've felt it.
I don't love watching people get pranked either, especially if it's something really mean.
No, I hate prank shows. I don't like I never got into Jackass, even though I know it's brilliant. Some of the stuff I've heard of, I'm just like, it's almost like the Saw movies.
That
I want to read about
watch.
what they do, but I don't want to.
Because
really.
it's funny because they do it to each other. But if it's an unsuspecting person, and especially if it's like a mean prank, that I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand pranks. There's one that I saw on TikTok yesterday or Reels that was guys were walking down the street and then there would be like a hot girl with huge tits walking towards them. And then behind her, so these guys, they're walking towards each other. Behind her would be another group of guys holding some object, right? So they'd go, so the guy facing her would say, wow, you have the most amazing rack. And she would be like, offended. And then all of a sudden there's a guy with a rack right behind her, like a clothing rack. And he's like, he walks right past her and goes, this is the best rack I've ever seen. It's huge.
Yeah.
Can I touch your rack? And then it's one with melons and there's one with coconuts. Classic. It's funny. It really is funny because the girls are like shocked and then they're like,
and I'm sure
they
those
feel
girls
stupid.
are real.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, it's probably all fake, but
okay, go on.
I don't like those because, and I'm going to get called a little snowflake woke bitch, but the girl thinks for a second she's being sexually harassed.
Yeah.
And it's an uncomfortable moment. And if you're a girl that hasn't been sexually harassed before, you don't understand the fear that goes with that. So you've like scared someone and made them feel like they're being like preyed upon, even for a split second. And I know that's what pranking is. You make someone think they're going to fall off something, or you make someone think that you just kicked that baby or something, whatever it is.
God.
It's always like elicits some trauma response. But that's why I don't like pranks. For a second, you think it's real and it changes your brain chemistry, I would think.
The phrase, but it's just a prank, is bullshit. Like, it doesn't make up for anything. Like, I remember in like the 2010 to 15 area, like pranks kind of hit like a peak on YouTube, where it's like everyone was trying to do pranks because of social media. And I remember it got to the point where the prank started to become just like, oh, you're just like being an asshole to somebody for 5 minutes and then saying, but it's just a prank. So there was this one kid who was doing that. And there was this on some subway, he was just like sitting on people's laps. He would just go into the subway and sit on someone's lap and then be like, what the fuck? And they'd be like, oh, pranked you. And it's like, that's not a prank. You just sat on someone's lap like an asshole and then said that. And then there's this video, it happened like a few weeks after that, where he sat on someone's lap and the guy beat the shit out of him. And it's like,
I would like that video.
Normal.
Of course. Of course that would happen.
And he's like, no, it's just a prank. It's just a prank. And he's just punching him.
I watched this YouTube video about this guy named Trevor Wisecup, and he's he takes street photography, which is like my favorite thing. One of my favorite things in the world is just like pictures of random people when they don't know they're being taken a picture of, or when they just find out, like they look in the camera. I love that because it is and I used to do it in New York City, and I used to almost get caught a lot of times. It's like, it kind of feels like you're shoplifting someone's soul. Because you steal these little intimate moments where they don't think they're being filmed. And you get like a slice of humanity. Like, you'll just see a girl's face and you just can like see she's depressed just from the way she's like staring at the ground. And you're like, wow, that's such a vulnerable thing that you caught of that person. So it feels a little bad. But this guy, Trevor Wisecup, watch his interview on YouTube, because he just walks around a certain part of town. He becomes obsessed with it. And he just snaps pictures in people's faces and then deals with the consequences. And sometimes he almost gets like beat up and people are confused. But most of the time people don't care. But I think I never did that. I would always sneak it.
Yeah.
And I would use my, you would have on headphones, and they used to have the wires, obviously. And a sneaky way to take a picture was to press the up button. You know how the volume up is the shutter?
Looks like you're
on your
doing
camera?
volume.
So I would look like I'm doing volume on the wire of so you wouldn't, and I would just hold it. And a lot of times I would do one where I look like because sometimes you want to get an angle that's like up by your face, but you can't hold the phone up. That looks like you're taking a picture. So if you make it look like you're looking in the FaceTime mirror and doing your lipstick, you can take a picture of someone and they think you're using your phone as a mirror.
Wow. Sneaky Nikki.
But I did get caught once and I was just like, oh, erase it. I forget what happened, but it felt awful. We'll go to break and come back with more after this. All right, we're back. Last night my sister told me that it's so funny. Okay. Matt told me actually that Arlo, it was my mom's birthday last night. Yeah. We were all in this karaoke lounge. Before the karaoke began, we were all eating dinner. And Matt, we were talking about kids, saying weird stuff. And Matt said that Arlo the other day, who's 6, said, is face fucker a bad word? Face fucker. Which is just so funny to take it to the next level. Like, he has no clue what that means, but he just is wondering if that's a bad word. And I, like a little lyric detective, brilliantly know exactly where he got it from. It's Olivia Rodrigo's song Vampire. She goes, the vampire song. She goes, fame fucker, bleeding me dry like a goddamn vampire. She says fame fucker. But kids are hearing that and thinking it says face fucker. And also face fuck, they probably heard it somewhere else because that is a thing.
Like on Dora.
And so I go, did he get it from Olivia Rodrigo? And Matt goes, how did you know that? I'm like, yes, because that's the only time a child would hear that song. And my dad goes, why aren't you listening to the clean version? And Matt's like, I don't know, because I didn't think that word would be in that song. Like, it's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
And so Arlo said his face fucker, a bad word. And then my dad goes, you got to listen to the clean version. And Lauren may have just echoed that. Yeah, like, we got to get the clean versions. And I go, do you?
Yeah.
Do you? Because what's the harm? Like, I think as a kid, I didn't say ever. I knew that words were for adults. Like, I wouldn't purposely say a bad word to like get in. It was helpful. The only time I said a bad word was when I didn't know it was a bad word. If I knew something was a bad word, I wouldn't say it because I was a good girl, I guess. So the only times I got in trouble was when I thought it was a word that everyone could say, right? And I think that's most people have a story of just saying something you hear your mom and dad say, and then they get mad at you, and you're like, but you I didn't even know it was bad. So, but also, if a kid is cussing, have you ever heard a kid cuss and not thought it was funny? Has there ever been a context where a kid says face fucker and it wouldn't be hilarious? I don't care if my kid is saying that at a church or at like dinner at my friends, like in front of his friends' parents. I still think it's funny. It would not bother me at all if my kid said face fucker, but maybe that's because I don't have kids and I don't know what that would feel like. But my sister was like, we don't want him saying that. I'm like, but why? Like, if the school called and said your kid's saying face fucker, I would be like, this is a funny story for them someday. This isn't going to really affect their bottom line right now. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, they just have to learn that there's consequences.
My kid will learn from right and wrong.
Yeah,
yes.
There's consequences in certain situations to cursing, and they'll learn that. Whereas as opposed to...
And I'm not going to laugh all the time. I'm going to say, you don't say that around people, but I'm not going to be upset. Like, we need to shield the children from the words. Like, that's crazy. I understand not letting kids see porn because it's like a traumatic image. Like, I don't think everything adults have and violence. I don't even think porn should be barred from adults too. It's all bad for your brain. But I think curse words should not be kept from kids.
No.
End statement. Like, final answer. I think no word should be kept from anyone. I think it's very strange.
The N-word.
I understand why we don't. The N-word, yes.
Let them
but
say it.
They should know it's a thing that exists.
If you're
that some
a white
people say
kid,
who are horrible.
If you're a white kid, you could say the N-word until you turn 8.
No, the N-word, of course, that's never going to be funny for a kid to say or anyone to say. Although, I mean, I'm sure it would.
But if
they didn't know what they were saying, it would be funny.
If a 6-year-old white kid was saying the N-word, would you not laugh a little?
It would be funny if it was not to someone.
No, not to someone.
Like, if they were just saying it because they didn't know what it meant.
Kids can't tell when to say it and when not to say it.
But the problem, then that's okay because we should all understand that kids don't have the reasoning, so they shouldn't be, we shouldn't try them as adults. So if they say the N-word, we shouldn't all go, you're the worst kid that's ever lived. You're bad.
Yeah.
You're a bad person. Like, that stuff matters. So I think that, I don't know. And I really am on to something I got to say with this adoption thing. and how you don't care as much about your kid being an extension of you, and you're a little bit easier with them. I've gotten some feedback on it, and I've some people sent me some things about parents being so obsessed with their kids and how it's an extension of them. I think I'm onto something, that adopted kids have it easier when it comes to pressure from parents, which is a detrimental thing in a child's life if you're adopted, because your parents aren't as obsessed with how you come out because they don't take it personally.
I believe that's true of second children too. I think the first child gets too much pressure put on them, and the second child, it works both ways. You have to figure things out on your own because the parent isn't quite as focused on you, and then you also have to compete with someone older than you all the time.
Yes. Wait, being a second, I am so glad I wasn't a second kid, although, all of the things I hear about being the oldest daughter are terrible. And it's like, it's a hard life. You would have thought, like, all the stuff I get sent about being an eldest daughter, or all the memes and stuff, it just assumes we were just horribly abused like throughout our lives, and that we've had the hardest lives. It's like, and it's really not that bad of a life, but it does make you feel better when someone tells you, like, you have a reason to be crazy. Because that, I think, is my problem, is like, I struggle with so much depression. I struggle with all of these, like, self-doubt and self-loathing and all these things. And I got nothing to point at for why I feel this way. It's so aggravating that I didn't get molested or beat. And I'm saying that obviously comedically, but it would be nice to have had a divorce or something. But I think the lack of divorce could have led to it. But it is very frustrating.
Thing. It's like your whole childhood, everyone else around you was having these amazing excuses to be fucked up, and you had nothing. You were sitting there, parents together,
my thing, is that
never molested, no accidents, and it's just like, that's your tragedy.
Well, this is the crazy part, is that in my, like, unpacking this stuff with my not new therapist, I've been seeing her a while. No, this wasn't even from her. I'm so sorry. We talked about this because I'm reading this book. What is the book I'm reading? Oh, okay. I'm reluctant to share the title because I'm sorry, but it is helping me, and I've sent it to my cousin, and I've sent it to and I've told another friend to get it. It's called Unworthy, and I think the subheading is something like How to Stop Hating Yourself or something like that. Anyway, I just put in self-loathing books. Like, I just typed that in, and this was the first one that came up, and so I got it, and it's really good. And it's teaching me about, like, why do we hate ourselves? And the science says that, you can hate yourself because you have abusive parents that never believed in you and were, codependent on you and narcissistic and emotionally abusive and alcoholic and all these things. Or you could just have been a very sensitive little kid, and your mom maybe was, when you were a baby, before the age of 3, you could have been around your mom a handful of times when she was just not in a good mood and didn't smile at you in the right way and wasn't returning your smiles. I mean, that's how sensitive some babies are. That can actually lead to attachment disorder, where it's like, if your mom is just in a fucking bad mood. There's been times where I don't want to smile at a baby.
Oh, I never smile at a baby.
So through no fault of a mother's, just being stuck with a baby and being tired, overwhelmed, and just
busy,
done with it, and busy or distracted, whatever it is. And I can only imagine what phones add to this. But, like, if a baby isn't given the response that it needs, if it has a wet diaper and its needs aren't getting met, it's hungry, and this was an example. That can fuck up your baby and make them insecure and feel like they have self-loathing the rest of their lives. Is that you could feed a baby, and a baby is expecting what it usually gets which is like warm, yummy food. And the bottle could be cold, and it would alarm the baby's brain and neural pathways in such a way that it now can't trust. That can happen 2 times. This isn't science, but I think it's like, it doesn't have to happen that many times. I don't know this for a fact, but this was a reference that was like, came from research in this woman's book. That can happen just a handful of times, that a baby gets cold when it's expecting warm, and it will lose trust in the things that love it the most. And if you lose trust in something that loves you the most, you must not be that lovable if the thing that's supposed to love you doesn't and gives you cold. And so you decide, okay, well, I got to do this on my own. And like, it's shit like that. Final answer. We're fucked. Final thought. We're how that is so delicate. So that's what it's helping me reading these books, because I'm learning that just because I don't have some like crazy pivotal abusive situation to point to in my past, it could have been just something like that. Like my mom was just watching a soap opera and kind of distracted, and I was like, wah! And like she was just like, had just maybe read something like, you don't need to calm them right away. And then that could have led to me later on, you know.
This makes me want, like, isn't there a flaw in just that? And like, if everybody's fucked up and the littlest thing could fuck you up as a baby,
yes,
then I feel like our parents' generation, or even the one before that, had the right idea, where it's just like, stop exploring those things, just suck it up and just live your life. And then, you know, beat your wife and die of a heart attack at 48. But at least
you're going the other way. Just give up, you're saying.
Well, yeah, like I think because we're trying to always constantly figure out why we're wrong and improving our condition in life, that we have this aversion to being uncomfortable. We have this aversion to being,
yes.
And it's like we're all becoming more and more sensitive because we're expecting everything to be good. And it's just not. And you should just accept that and suck it up.
Agree with you. I completely agree with you. There is that life, everything you love will go away someday. You will either die and it will all go away, or it will die before you die. And so human existence is losing everything you have. It does end up horrible, no matter what. You can even like we lose everything we love, which is by definition not a good system. So by definition, being a human is pain and exist. It's pain.
Yes.
And you do have to accept that. The problem is that I do accept that, and I still. You should be able to enjoy the good stuff though. And that's where I run into issues, is that I embrace the pain. I know I'm going to die someday. I think it's crazy, all the animal suffering around, that we're just like, whatever, we're blind. Like, I see it all around. I accept it. I do still want to enjoy shit though. And that's where I think my depression gets the best of me, is that you can't enjoy the things you once loved. I mean, I've heard it in a Zoloft commercial time and time again. That's what I'm trying to, and I'm just tired of like not liking myself. We've all heard the thing of, like, if you talked the way you talk to yourself to your friend, like you would like never let someone talk to your friend the way you talk to yourself. And it's so true. I can't even imagine if someone spoke to my friend the way I talk to myself, I would probably be in prison for murder. Like I really would do some crazy shit to come after whoever talked to anyone I love this way. Like anyone that's hurt my friends before, I immediately am like, is there a way I can cyberbully them so they'll jump off a bridge? Like, I mean, that's my first thought. Like, I hate anyone that is mean to my friends. And I would never cyberbully someone, by the way. Have I been tempted to? Of course.
Yeah.
Does it seem like a good idea when you really want to make someone feel bad and you don't want them to know it's you? Yeah. Do I get why people do it? But should you do it? Never. It's so cruel and awful. But yes, I've thought about it before of like, man, I wish I was a worse person and could just
Some people have
come
the
after
fan
these people.
bases that are capable of sicking the dogs on someone, like a Swiftie.
Oh, yeah.
Or like,
yeah, Swifties.
I mean, there's been plenty of examples of it where you just even accidentally sick the dogs on somebody. And I don't think the besties are capable
have you ever been tempted to do that?
Do you think the besties though are capable of
no.
I don't think I don't
think they're capable of it, but I do think they'll admit that it would be very satisfying to. And I don't mean cyberbully someone to get someone to jump off a bridge. I was being comedic and being that hyperbolic, but like just cyberbully someone to make them feel bad about who they are. I've been tempted to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I really have. Someone that's like hurt a friend of mine and gone out of their way. Like I remember Carlisle telling me a story about someone making fun of her being a waitress as she's waitressing and being like failed at what she could have done in front of his whole table of all these really accomplished people that are all her age. And I fucking went psycho, dude. I wanted to, I found him on Instagram. I stared at pictures of him. This person who tried to humiliate my friend in public, I would have I wanted to take the next step and make a fake account and just start harassing him.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I really did. But I didn't.
I'm hearing this stuff and it's kind of, I can't figure out how to put it into words, but it's the same way that I would feel about pranking someone who is an innocent bystander. It's the same kind of feeling. To me, the ultimate reward would be like, okay, let's give Carlisle a glow up so that this person's jealous of her even more. I would focus it more on my friend coming up.
That's the healthy way. Yes, absolutely. But is that your first instinct? Like don't you have
my
a little bit
is,
of like, I want to get
I don't
this
like
person.
this person. I'll never be friends with this person. Now I can see them for who they are.
But you don't want to ruin their life. No, I don't want to ruin their life. I just want them to feel bad about who they are and know that I see what they did.
It puts too much focus on
when I went
them.
off about that.
Oh, but it's so satisfying.
Oh boy,
Fargo season 5.
You're so right, Noah. It's Fargo season 5. Yeah, you want to. I think it is. Yeah. Are you talking from John Hamm's perspective?
No,
like
from
he should just let it go,
from
but
the
he keeps going?
matriarch. The matriarch, she's so vindictive, and she doesn't just let the person fail. She figures out a way to destroy everything they have.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I want to backtrack. I don't want them to hate themselves to the point. I just want them to have a bad day, and I want them to know I know.
But if they're that kind of person, I know that they are having a bad day every day because they're miserable on the inside. If they need to,
and you're absolutely right.
Bully other people.
You are ready to be a mother. I swear to God, that is like you're there, girl. Because if someone,
it's just energy.
I can
better
only imagine
spent.
as a parent. Oh,
I remember. Okay, you were on Joe Rogan's
satisfaction.
podcast like years and years ago, but he said something to you that really, really stuck with me up until today. He said, when you wake up in the morning, your tank has 100%, and you get to choose what you do with that energy and how you spend it. And I think about that a lot, and it's true.
When I wake up in the morning, my tank has like 38%.
Yeah, that's
well, as you get older, it gets less and less, that's for sure.
I spend 30% thinking about how to destroy my enemies.
No, you know what? I think it harkens back to I get a surge of dopamine when I get upset. And I think as someone with ADHD, I'm constantly looking for highs.
Sure.
And I've talked about it before. When I get angry, I feel like very clear-headed and like the best version of myself. It's almost like it feels good. So I think that I'm searching for that dopamine high when I do have an opportunity to really get someone. And I don't really care about the status I have. Like, obviously status is something that's important to me. It's something that's important to all humans. It's something that keeps you alive.
Maslow's
Like
hierarchy of needs.
Is status on there?
Not quite status, but self-fulfillment and stuff is linked to status.
Right. I mean, Sam Harris did a whole podcast about status and how someone who wrote a book about status, how we're all seeking it. I mean, especially in a capitalist society, but my status buys me one thing, other than all the things it buys me with literal money that I get from having status. But one thing it gets me that is not, I guess it's money dependent because the power comes from the money. I have the power to, I guess with this guy, like this certain guy that said this to Carlisle, like I had the power because he's in the industry I work in where I have a little bit of status. I have the power to keep him from getting things. Which I would absolutely do if I don't even remember his name or anything. So it wouldn't happen. But if I found out he was up for a job on a show, I would 100% say, no, you don't get it. Because that's a reason to not give someone a job. You're a shitty person. So I like that. And I like the fact that if he finds out I don't think he's cool, he might, because he's such a petty piece of shit that like cares about vapid stuff like fame, it might make him feel less cool to know that Nikki Glaser hates him. Like it would really hurt my feelings to find out if Taylor Swift hated me. And not that I'm Taylor Swift or anything, but like having the ability to maybe he'd be like, oh, I'm such a fan. I'm like, well, I hate you would be very satisfying to me.
Wow.
But it didn't get to that. I didn't write to him. I didn't say anything. Carlisle said not to. Not that I would have, but man, I think there's got to be besties out there that dream of, I don't dream of murder, and I don't even think it's bad if you do, because some people just think about murdering someone and really get off on that thought of it. And I don't think that means you're going to do it. There's lots of things I think about that I don't want to happen. But yeah, I got to embrace those really sick parts of me that just imagine like, what could I do if I was a little bit more unhinged? Yeah, so we figured it out, I think.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts, Brian?
I mean, I cannot wait for the day that I get a phone call asking me for a recommendation or asking me to give a recommendation to somebody that was shit. I mean, someone told me that story once. I was like at a panel or something, and she's like, "You got to be cool when you're at a job. You have to be a cool person that everyone likes being around. That's nice and kind and a hard worker, but most of all, just nice and kind and normal. Because when the day comes that someone calls you, it'll come. It'll come eventually. Somebody in your orbit. If you're a piece of shit and you're a piece of shit at work, or if you're spoiled or whatever, somebody in your orbit will one day have to answer the question, do you recommend this person for a job? And man, I hope that happens to me one day where I get to say, oh, that person, under no actually, I might have already done this for somebody.
Yeah, really?
Under no circumstances should you hire this. I think I said this just about somebody, actually.
And let me just say the flip side of that.
Yeah. I don't remember who it was.
I have said the opposite, obviously, when someone calls and they go, finally, I get to say, this is the greatest. This person deserves it more than anything. If my word means anything, please just give this person the job on the spot. And that, I will speak to Noah's feeling, feels so good.
So much better than the other one.
I don't know if better.
It's better.
Haven't been able to do the other one yet, but I can't wait to. But being able to give someone an opportunity feels so good when you know that they're like such a good person and you're like, oh my God, everyone on this job is going to love them. And like,
I got to feel that this weekend for somebody where I recommended somebody for a job. Yeah. To, I don't know if
to Chris.
Yeah. To Chris.
Yeah.
I recommended someone for a job to Chris, and I got to speak so highly of this person, and it brought me great joy to, try to give somebody something that I thought was amazing. And I've done the other thing where I go around town speaking ill of this particular thing or person or group of people. And I tell everybody I see, like, under no circumstances should you work with this company. I'm sorry, not with this company, with this whatever.
Yeah, no one's going to connect it, Brian.
And I say it all the time.
There's lots of companies you've worked with.
BP, the oil company. And I say that all the time, and it doesn't feel great, but it does feel like I feel like a duty to report this to people. Whereas the other side of it,
big old duty.
I feel like a big old brown duty. The other side of it, though, when you're saying something good about somebody, that actually does make you feel good inside.
It does. Yeah. It does. It's better to do good. You're right. All right, we figured it out. I was gonna say so. Oh, you know what I wanted? In speaking of these like recommendations, one of the best YouTube clips imaginable that I've seen the past couple of years. I don't think I've ever talked about it on the show, but it is worth looking up right now if you want to continue your entertainment, besties. YouTube, Hamish and Andy, the best Australian award, or like the greatest guy in the world, because they do this thing where they call a random number and they say to him, hey, I just got out of a job interview. I picked a random number and I put your number down as a reference. Will you just pretend if they call you that I worked at your company and that I was a great employee? And the guy goes, sure. And they call him back 5 minutes later as the company. And the guy gives him the best reference ever. And it's just a stranger. And this guy ends up getting like to go on the Hamish and Andy show and is celebrated as like the greatest man alive. And it's just, I didn't spoil it. It's such a fun like roller coaster of things that happen. So go check that out, Hamish and Andy. It's like called the greatest Australian ever or something like that. All right, that's the show. We will see you tomorrow on the show, and we'll talk about girls trip. We'll talk about my mom's birthday last night, my LA trip on the road. So much to go over. And this weekend I'm going to be in Atlanta and Kansas City with Anya Marina, and a special guest in the Kansas City show, Tim Convey. So come out to those shows, Atlanta and Kansas City. We had so much fun this past weekend in Florida. We'll talk about it as well. All right, thank you, besties. See you tomorrow. Don't be good, and just give a recommendation.